Hey guys, this is Bingo's Adventures back with another video. And today we're only doing one video this week. And it's going to be Alice in Wonderland 1931. And I wrote down notes. Yes, I'm that kind of YouTuber that writes down notes for these movies, and I'm sorry if I'm quiet. I just got done watching the movie, so yeah, I'm recording this right after I watched this. Um, and gave, of course, I took about an hour to get my thoughts, together. And yeah, I wrote down Alice in Wonderland 1931 notes, and I will be going over every scene. So before we get into this, um, I will have to give you guys a spoiler warning, but you guys shouldn't have to worry about spoilers because it literally tries its best to go with the book. So if you guys haven't read the book, you guys should definitely, because I wrote down notes for this movie. Um, and I will be telling you guys the notes I wrote at the beginning whenever I was looking up this movie. Um, this is a, this was a, this is going to be a longer video, by the way, so it's going to be 10-15 minutes. Because there's a lot of scenes in this movie. There's 8 scenes all together. Technically 9 if you count the opening, which I will tell you guys in a minute. But this was a low budget film. Yes, you can definitely tell, by how the characters' costumes was, how the costumes was, yeah, you can tell, this was a low budget film, which I don't mind. Yeah, I mind a bit because, my goodness, the costumes was terrible. And I'm gonna let you guys know every scene I do, um, every scene I go through. But yeah, the second one is Alice's actress. Hopefully I don't mispronounce her name, but her name is Ruth Gilbert. Um, and she's American instead of British, or the way her actress is. And I put hashtag Betty Boop because she sounds like Betty Boop. And that's all I gotta say about her. And I really wish, um, they would have gone with making her British. And I know you guys can tell me in the comments, but yeah, I really wish, they kept, at least try to give her a British accent. I don't, or hired a British actress or someone. Um, that's just my opinion. Um, like I said, mostly this is about my opinions in these videos. But yeah, we're gonna go straight to the opening. And I have some notes written down. Yeah, this is the perfect note to start out with because I'm gonna let you guys know every note that I wrote down. I'm sorry if you hear any background noise. That is me flipping the pages to get because I wrote this down on a notebook. Um, the opening, it was okay. Um, it was the best song out of the movie. I'm just gonna say it's the best song out of the movie. The other songs was terrible, so yeah. Uh, except the ending, it was just bad effects, and it's the same bad effects as the ending, where we will get to in a little bit. Um, and it starts out with Alice in Wonderland. Yes, we start out with Alice in Wonderland, so yeah, we don't start her out with in London or wherever she lived. Um, so yeah, I guess you can interpret this as like we don't know it's a dream until the ending. Then we'll realize, and I'll let you guys know. Because I have some stuff to say. Then we start out with the scene. Uh, it the just gonna give you guys a warning. The acting in this movie, there's like only like 3 or 4 characters that like the acting they they actually feel like acting. But Alice, Ruth Gilbert, girl, I'm sorry, girl, but your acting in this movie wasn't the best. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I'm sorry. And some of the characters, the acting was terrible too. Um, which I will tell you guys as we get to it. Um, the we start out with Alice just sitting, watching these birds and crabs, and it's just crazy. Um, and then she sees a white rabbit, and then she tries following it. Um, like I said, the acting is bad. Um, an awkward scene at the beginning and the ending. Yeah, it's just this weird musical scene, but there was like no words. It was just her walking around. It was a little bit too long. The opening and ending was a little bit too long. The rabbit's costume is terrifying. It seriously is like nightmare fuel. But yeah, we're gonna go on to the next scene, um, where she meets the Duchess, and she goes to the Duchess' place, um, and the cook, uh, she's throwing dishes and everything like we have seen, um, but yeah, uh, then, she meets the Duchess, the cook leaves, this cook is obsessed with Pepper, I'm not kidding, um, the Duchess, uh, had a baby crying, as you didn't know, um, the baby turns into a pig, um, and the Duchess tries to murder Alice. Yeah, because she insulted the baby. Um, but yeah, I have some notes for this scene too. The pig was cute. Yeah, it was. I love baby pigs. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I love me some baby pigs, and that baby pig was adorable. Uh, the Duchess was my favorite character. Until she tried, she picked up the axe and tried to murder Alice. Yeah, yeah. That was my thoughts because I wrote down these notes whenever I was watching the movie. So yeah, my opinions will change. So yeah, I'm just gonna go to the next scene. Um, and yeah, Alice meets the Cheshire Cat, and I have some things to say. Like, I will let you guys know my thoughts on his costume as well. Like, I wrote, yeah, it wasn't really that big of a scene. Um, the cat disappears, tells Alice where to go, and that's basically it. And I'm gonna tell you guys exactly what his costume looks like, because I'm not gonna post images of the movie because of copyright. But I wrote down, what is this? Cats the Musical or Cat in the Hat live action? Yeah, I'm just giving you guys a moment of silence. Because that's what it literally reminded me of. And already annoyed by his laugh. Because thank goodness this was the only scene we seen Cheshire Cat in. Um, even though he should have been more included in the movie. Um, awkward transitioning at the end. And I mean, I'm not lying. Like, the transition with Alice, close up face, it was weird. And the editing in this is bad. So yeah. Okay. Next scene. Uh, she meets the Mad Hatter. Um, it it literally she has this tea party with the Mad Hatter, and she just gets mad and leaves because I mean I don't like Mad Hatter either. It's probably one of my least favorite characters from the original Alice in Wonderland. I did not like the Mad Hatter. Um, but yeah, here's my notes that I wrote. Another bad costume, and I mean the March Hare. That is what I mean. By another bad costume. Uh, and the rat too, the mouse or whatever, was already bad. Uh, the Mad Hatter's singing was horrible. It was. It was. I literally told him to be quiet, and yeah, he didn't hear me because he kept singing. And yeah, I about muted the movie from his singing, but I dealt through it. Um, Alice leaves. We're gonna go through the next scene. She meets the caterpillar. Um, and this caterpillar, this scene wasn't really necessary. This scene wasn't necessary. Like, this scene wasn't necessary. It could have gotten cut, and nothing would have changed. But I would do have some notes. Uh, that editing, though, I mean, that was the worst case editing in my part. In my part, it was the worst. It was the worst um cutting as well because literally, the caterpillar got mad. Uh, and that transitioning and cutting of him trying to go away was just awkward. It was just bad. It was just bad, and that's all I gotta say for that scene. The next scene, we're literally almost done with the movie. Like I said, this video is gonna be a little bit longer, but I'm trying my best to go as fast as possible. I'm trying my best to make this video um simple and stuff. So yeah, we're going to the next scene where the she meets the queen. She finally meets the queen. Um, and yeah, the queen, the queen, the king and the queen are one of the better actors, except for that one face-up shot. Um, but yeah, they have. She meets the queen, and Alice is sassy, as always. I always think she was sassy. Um, and then all of a sudden they do a dance number in the middle of it. It was like 30 seconds of dancing, and then the Duchess shows up, and the rabbit. The rabbit was like saying he likes the Duchess and stuff. So yeah, I have that in my notes as well. And then the Duchess takes Alice to the mocking turtle and the griffin, I believe. And I'm gonna let you guys know my notes. Scene 6, the Duchess and the White Rabbit are now a thing. I'm just gonna say it. And Alice is surprisingly sweet in this scene, but is also sassy. She is. She was surprised. This is probably the only scene that we see Alice being sweet and nice. Um, which is surprising. Um, the Duchess is now my favorite side character. She is. She is. Except for that time she tried murdering Alice, but I'm gonna let that slide because one, she was crazy trying to murder her after she insulted the baby. That's crazy. And yeah, we're gonna go with this, seventh scene, and it was probably, um, my second favorite scene in the whole movie. Um, and yeah, she meets the mocking turtle and the griffin, and they're sitting down, and singing a few songs, talking about school, that sort of stuff. And the White Rabbit comes up and tells Alice that she has to go to the court, and that's basically the end of that scene. But I'm also gonna let you guys know the reason why it's my second favorite scene, because I mean, it was pretty cool. Um, but also, it is the worst singing, and this is my notes before we head into the last scene. The worst singing and costumes of the movie. Yeah, they was bad. Uh, Also 1915 reference. And what I mean by that, look at, Alice in Wonderland 1915. They show the exact same scene, but in that transparent editing style they use, which is pretty cool. And then we're gonna move on to the last scene, um, and it's the longest scene out of the movie. The last scene where basically Alice, uh, and it's gonna be a little bit longer when I talk to it because there was so much stuff going on. The most stuff, uh, in this movie. Um, but basically, they're in court, um, because someone stole the Queen's cards, as you may know. That's how it happens. Um, and yeah, the Alice has to go to court, and yeah, basically, we have the Mad Hatter goes up first. Of course, they get the freaking mouse and get him ready to get his head cut off because they was talking about cutting off these characters' heads. Um, the Mad Hatter also gets his, which get gets executed too, but we don't see it, but he will, um, which which is kind of which is kind of strange because we never see characters' heads get cut off in these type of movies. Oh, but I do remember that one Wizard of Oz movie. Oh my goodness, no, that was that was the hilarious scene. Um, but yeah, basically, uh, we have Alice next defending. Before the Alice, we have the cook, and she literally shakes her pepper thing, pepper shaker, and makes everybody sneeze. And then we have Alice come up, and she defends herself. She can defend herself. Um, and then we have the Duchess come up, and she, the Queen, um, lets the Rabbit and Duchess get married. Alice is furious with it, but I mean, earlier in a few scenes, she was supportive of it, which is confusing. And then she insults the cards, and that ending was rushed. I'm sorry, guys, that ending was rushed. And here's my notes for the scene before we head into the ending. Um, the Rabbit and Duchess are getting married, like I said. That ending was a little rushed, like I said, too. And that's all I have for notes, and I'm shutting my notebook off. But yeah, then Alice wakes up, and it was a dream the whole time. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and this is my last 1931 media that I'm going to be doing. So So no more 1931 stuff. We're gonna be next week. We're gonna be moving towards 1932. Um, and yeah, we're gonna be doing two Looney Tune shorts next week. But how I would rate this movie, um, I gave it a few points because some of the acting was good, and it tried its best to go along with the book. Um, but there was a few things missing. One, uh, there was no, there was no shrinking or growing at all. Um, and the actress wasn't like there was no British. There was not. There was. It was just. It felt American, like it was an American Alice in Wonderland instead of British. But yeah, um, that's all I gotta say. I'm gonna give this movie a 2 out of 5 because what cuts out most of it is the acting, the editing. Um, that ending was rushed. The songs wasn't really that great. Um, but it, but I gave it points for trying its best to go with the book. And yeah, I will see you guys next week with two new Looney Tunes short reviews. See you guys next time. Bye.